Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So Ethereum has dropped after the last video. That was not unexpected. We made a slightly higher high. We put, in my opinion, a wave 5 in place here. As you will remember from the previous video. Yeah. This high was slightly higher than the previous one. I can count it as a wave 5. It's not ideal. It's a bit too short. Bitcoin's pattern was clearer, yeah? But we made a higher high and the minimum expectations for a 5-wave move were fulfilled. It's a very similar structure to what we had here. You see that? If you compare that structure here with exactly this structure, you'll see it looks very similar. And also here we had to deal with a correction afterwards. Yeah, so also here I'm not convinced that this correction is over yet. I have to be very honest with you. But we're going to take a look at that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, generally, as long as we're holding, first of all, short term above 1300 or 1296. 1296 is the key support level. And let's say the more important support level is actually down here at 1240. As long as I'm holding, or we are holding above 1240, I am focusing on higher. Okay. Below that, we might retest November lows and maybe get even lower. So I don't know if you've been, if you participated in the live stream today, the Fed interest rate live stream. I know in the previous video, my target was here. I think 1358 was the target. I mean, we came all the way up to 1351. That is pretty close. It would have been nice to push a little bit higher, but in the live stream, very much in the beginning, even before the Fed interest rates were announced, yeah. By the way, it's been obviously 50 basis points, probably everybody knows now, which is sort of in line with expectations. But as far as I know, they have announced that they are going to probably increase the peak rate in next year. So the rates might increase a little bit longer or a little bit more than originally anticipated by the market. That is probably what triggered this small sell-off, but it doesn't change the overall trend, right? So what did happen actually? We looked at it in the live stream. We said, okay, maybe this high is already in. And we looked at this chart for 20 minutes and I said, look, it's probably in. Yeah, if we might miss the target by whatever, $7, $8. But what I would expect is a sell-off. Yeah, especially for Bitcoin as well and Ethereum as well. If you've been in the live stream, especially in the beginning of the live stream, you'll know that. And I defined a support area here for a wave 4, and we did that. We came down. Yeah, it was very obvious because Bitcoin had rallied so much. Not Ethereum, not that much, but Bitcoin had rallied so much before the decision or the announcement, and it was so much overbought that it was quite. I don't want to say clear because it's never entirely clear, but it could be assumed that a local high was in place, and that was pretty much in line with the Elliott Wave count here for Ethereum as well. The Elliott Wave count was pretty clear, again, pretty clear, rather clear, that a wave 5 was at least nearly in place. I mean, we don't want to argue about $7, I mean, honestly. But and also, if you look at the target wave 1 high, yeah, if you add it to the wave 4, the 1.236 extension was reached. I would have liked to see the 1.618. Okay, wasn't there, but it moved a bit higher than wave 3. So it then came down into this support area. You can see how the price reacted here to the 38.2% FIB level. That is what you would ideally expect in a wave 4 anyway. So that's fine. However, the sell-off is quite strong. So I'm not entirely convinced yet that this move down is finished. To be honest, I don't think it's finished yet. We always need to be ready that the price reverses and would then move up in a wave 5 here in yellow as soon as we hit such a support area. But the move down was very strong. It's very hard. I mean, if I want to say, okay, maybe wave 4 was finished, which it could be, but then I would have to identify a 3-wave structure in this small pattern. On days like these, this is sometimes very hard to do, especially if you have such a strong, if you have such a strong sell-off like that. But on the 3-minute chart, we can maybe do that, or 5-minute chart. 5 minutes, and actually to look at a pattern like that, when you have such a strong sell-off, 5 minutes is not too bad. I mean, you can always you could make the case that we've got here So it looks like 5 waves down to me. 1, 2, then here maybe the 3, the 4, and the 5. Yeah, so that could be an A wave, and we might now be putting a B wave in, and then there will be another C wave. But yeah, I'm not convinced again, because this move down looks quite impulsive, so it could really be an A wave. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean it's not going to work out? Well, ideally, honestly, ideally for an immediate move to the upside, for an impulse here, which would be the best pattern we can get, the clearest pattern, we should move up now. And we would then be looking at the 1.618 extension. Target would be, no, sorry, the 2.618 extension, yeah, for wave 5. We might be looking at something like 1430 here in this wave 5 or 3. Yeah, something around that area, right? Would it be a disaster if we drop below the 1296 level? No, it wouldn't be a disaster. I would then have to count this probably as another 1-2 setup from here. So 1, 2, and then another 1, 2. Or, we count the move to the upside as a so-called diagonal pattern. Yeah, so basically a channel in which we're operating. And in this sort of channel, we could find support somewhere around the channel support or trendline support, maybe around 1277 if we come down, depending on how long that takes now. We could even come down a bit lower. So it would really become a problem if we drop below 1241. Then we've got one more chance at 1185, but that's getting unlikely now because we've basically moved up quite a lot. So if it breaks down now, we might consider that the high was in if we break below 1240, which was here the swing low. So yeah, in summary, I think we are still in this pattern to the upside. At least I will assume that, especially as long as we're holding the yellow support area. If we drop below that, we've got fall back support at the ascending trend line, and then in this yellow box. But if we lose this yellow box, I think we're going to retest November lows. Also, in summary, I don't think the low was already in here. It would be nice, but the sell-off was a bit too impulsive to me. Obviously, nobody's got a crystal ball. Nobody really knows the future, but from looking at the structure, and that's what I said earlier today. I was a bit concerned when I looked at this move here as well. It came down quite strongly. I've just got another idea, I think. Just got another idea. But yeah, it came down quite strongly, moved up quite weak, and came down strongly. I mean, it could be, but that's, you know, obviously you always have different patterns that are possible. That would be possibly even more bullish, would explain the strong sell-off from today. The question is then, how do we construct that for Bitcoin? But it could be that this wave 5 we never finished, this wave 4 finished today, and then we had an A, B, C pattern here, an overshooting wave B. The only thing I've got an issue here with is that this move down looks to me more like a 5-wave structure. Well, in the end, this is only the question of details, because also in this pattern here, we never broke below the 50% retracement, did we? No, we came down perfectly to the $1,300 level. So maybe that's even the more relevant one, to be honest. But again, this is all question of details. Really, it doesn't really change much because, you know, here we've got an invalidation point of 1,300. With the other pattern, we've got one with 1,296. So I would not get hung up too much on that. Then it's getting more important than what are the key support levels and which need to hold. What are the Fibonacci support levels? And we don't want to argue about $4, you know. That is probably not too relevant. But yeah, it doesn't look to me that this move down is finished. Ideally, we are getting a stronger retracement now to the upside, a bit of a recovery, and then have a bit more space here for one more leg down without invalidating the yellow box. But yeah, again, I made my point clear that I think we are going to see more upside here as long as we're holding above these two support areas. It's just the question is just what kind of pattern is going to work out, right? Okay, and that's my update about Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.